Yeah, I'll show the budget.
Film it over there, and you can
The
post it
original
if you like.
budget
That's
was
fine.
like $500,
They're going to.
but we ended up spending
They're going
$5,000.
to give those guys a copy
But
of the video that they're
the
making.
strategy was kind of unique because I had already been making films, and I had been building up momentum and building up a team, and it just kind of just hit perfectly. Like, everybody knew who I was building up, I had shorts that I'd done. I had Bob Dodd, who was seriously backing me at that time, and so it just hit perfectly. So the strategy, the Stray Kids, was that it was such a tremendous project, and I really wanted to push myself as a writer, director, and producer. So I had to split it in 2 years. It was a weird thing to do, but it made sense because the story itself takes place in 2 separate years. So it made sense to do one in that year, then do the other next year. So it was like, okay, let's do that. And equipment-wise, it was just such a weird hassle. This guy I teamed up with, he lived in a very not nice area, so it made sense. Every morning he came in, it was like 3 in the morning. He had his garage, I had to drive in. It was a small 1-car garage. It barely fit the car. His gear was all along the wall, so I had to take everything along the wall, put it inside the car, and boom, get out of the garage, close it, so nobody knew what I had, right? And that was the deal. And I think I ended up paying like $1,000 for that, for the whole shoot, you know, and Bob had his own equipment. So 1 year I worked with Bob, he had the red and all that equipment, and then 1 year I did my stuff with black with Brian, who I teamed up with. And so that was a 2-year process. Then after that, I went to school. I finished TCC, I went to TU. I was able to edit using computers on and off time. I was literally in their computer lab from morning to night. I did all my homework, and then I worked on Stray Kids.
That's the great thing about being able to use college computers.
Yeah. And then when I TU was up, I went to the library. I had to go to the library, and then it would give you a 3-hour limit. So every day you open 3 hours of it. That was it.
Yeah.
And one guy named Brian Dew, he helped me every Friday. I'd go to his apartment and edit for a few hours, and that was it. That was all I could do. That was my process. It was insane. But you do what you can, but this is like probably the last time I'll do like a project where it's just like, I'll do everything because there's nobody there. I'll take the time to like, okay, this guy, this gal, this person. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
it's process.
I'm sure it's definitely a way to sharpen all your skills and
gain more
knowledge.
You do. And then I worked as a PA too. During working on Stray Kids, I needed a job, so I worked on film sets and PA and all kinds of stuff. So
it's kind of all tied into each other then.
Yeah. So it's just I finished my college with Stray Kids, I guess you could say. You know, making movies.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, let's see. For the Hitchhiker Effect, we spent 6 days shooting a 76-minute feature for $19,550. And the way we were able to do that, first of all, is SAG-AFTRA now has a micro budget agreement. They didn't have it 8 years ago when we were doing some new media stuff, which we got on Amazon Prime, which was more like series type stuff. And those projects, I think we spent $12,000 on a couple of projects, and I think if the micro budget agreement had been available then, I would have tried to do a feature then, because what it allows you to do, as long as your budget is $20,000 or less, you can pay union actors whatever the union actors agree to take. And I was in LA for a long time, and pretty much every actor is a union actor. There are very few that are not in the union, and really wanted to use those people. And they were like, yeah, hey, if we give you $100 a day per diem for 6 days, could you? And we flew them out, you know. And we're like, yeah, we can do it. So that cut our budget down by quite a bit. Now, ultimately, if you want to have your project commercially distributed, which we would like to do, we're at that point. I want to ask if I get distributed, but we've had several offers, and we're still working on it because we now have to come up with about another $5,000 in addition to our normal deliverables, which will total about $10,000, because we have to pay the actors to upgrade. But I'm glad we did it that way, because if we, done a feature film for $20,000 and it sucked, then that would have been great. We didn't have to pay everybody. And we just, sorry, you guys, it sucked. But it didn't suck. It turned out really good. So now we have the pleasant dilemma of trying to figure out how to pay the actors and come up with another $10,000. But it is a great way to start. And I think, total will be around $35,000 total, I think, which, I think that's a good line to be able to make some money back. And that's I'd like to do more micro budget for $20,000, which I can do. And the big keys are, having your own location. I live in this house. My grandparents bought it in 1968, little cabin on the river, so that helps. The biggest expense I had that was unexpected, I'm an astrologer, so I wanted to find the best week, and I had pretty much the natal charts, birth charts for all my actors because I've known them for so long. So the second week in April in 2023 is what we decided to go with, and so everything's set in stone, ready to go, and then I'm getting ready, you know, I've already budgeted for all the plane tickets, right? And, oh, that's Easter weekend, and tickets are gonna be 6 times as much, so instead of $350 to fly my actors out from LA, it was like $1,500. So I kind of blew our budget, and then one of our actors who couldn't make it out after all, she had something going on, I ended up hiring an actor locally. She was awesome, but because she's not union, we didn't have to pay her union rates, and that made up for the difference in the plane fare. So I just got in under budget. And again, try to get as much stuff as you can get free. My mom started going to food pantries like 6 months before we shot, just getting cans of anything that nobody wanted and turned it into soup so we could feed everybody.
There you go.
Stuff like that. From Virginia Commonwealth University, we got 4 crew members who were just out of school. They were fantastic. So worked out really well. So let's see what we get.
Yeah, so our budget, I think now in total we're between like 15, 16,000.
Okay.
We shot over about 23 days, and yeah, so with acting's my main passion, that's what I'm really pursuing. So I've been lucky enough to be on a lot of different sets, meet a lot of different actors. So I was able to kind of, while I was planning on making it, not only was I working, and I kind of knew I was going to make this, so I was just saving like crazy. I was able to find an executive producer, so basically him and I just split costs because we weren't going to sit around and just kind of wait for crowdfunding and all that. We were just like, let's just go ahead and make our first. We'll keep it as low as we can. If it does great, that's awesome. If not, hey, at least we tried. That was kind of our mentality, and luckily it paid off. So I'm glad we were able to do that. But yeah, it was basically just a big help was I made 2 short films. I made A Monster Within, and then I made a short film called Dog. And the second short film, Dog, ended up winning an award, and I had rented some equipment from lensrentals.com, and I gave them a shout out, and they saw the short and they really liked it, and so I just kind of was like, yeah, they can go make a feature, and probably will use some equipment. So they kind of helped me out with giving me some coupon and discount codes and stuff like that. So that was a big help, and then the way that I wrote the story, it was very ambitious, but I was able to use locations that I knew that we could find all over Oklahoma. We filmed in Enid, we filmed in Lawton. They let us use like the abandoned jail that's there. They let us use that for free. So pretty much all the locations, I just went in, talked to them, and I think they all really resonated with the story, and they liked the idea of that. So that helped out a lot. But we did film a little portion of it in Texas, and the actor who plays our villain, so he just had a role in Killers of the Flower Moon, and I met him on set of a horror film that I was on, and I just saw his look, and I was like, this guy's perfect. So I talked with him, and then we were able to make a good deal.
Yeah.
He was excited because that's the type of role that like he's been always wanting to. His name is Samuel French. He knocked it out of the park. And then there's another fairly well-known character actor that we have in our film called Skeeta Jenkins. He knocked it out of the park as well. I met him on another film set. So it was just interesting, like being an actor, kind of going on this journey, kind of set me up to help make features. So that's kind of how I did it.
Yeah, there you go. And it's all also about some of those connections that you guys can make, along the way too. Just to kind of help save some money, or like Zach was saying, if you can grab all the cans of food that you can to feed everybody on the crew. I mean, that's a big deal as well. So that's definitely hats off to your mom on that one. So whenever it comes down to locations, what really catches your eye when it comes to locations? Is it maybe the business owners, just like to talk with them, or maybe the fees associated with it? Kind of go over your process when it comes to choosing locations.
Okay. Well, I storyboarded Stray Kids, and I kind of had the color, tone, and everything kind of pre-figured out. So when you live in Tulsa, I lived here forever. I lived in Tulsa, so I just know it like just perfectly, right? So I make notes. You make notes of this little corner. Oh, this matches that building over there, or more. But they're all like scattered, and you just it's your playground, right? The city is your playground, and so I mean, and everybody knows when, like it's some people have the eye for it, for detail and whatnot, but it's funny because when people come here, they go, oh, Tulsa's so cinematic looking. It's true, it really is.
Yeah.
Even Muskogee, parts of Muskogee here, I really like. I told Oscar I was thinking about doing Stray Kids too, like here.
That'd be cool.
But you know, it's just does it match the tone of your film? Does it match the story? Does it match what you have in mind? And you know, and then you go and I did with my little camera. I went and did like little stand-ins, had actors, and I would take pictures of the area and go around and it's like it's almost like making your first movie, right? You make your first movie with pictures, and then you go in and it's like, okay, it feels your story's coming to life, and that's what location does. It really brings your story to life. It's like you're living it now. Now it's just scheduling it. But it's all about tone, and does it match, right? Does it match, and does it resonate with the characters and everything happening? Right? It just really seals it together, right? So,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah. And then I urge people to go watch Stray Kids just for that alone, because I worked very hard on picking out very specific locations. And people tell me, wow, these locations look amazing. You make Tulsa look big and city. It's like, and my wife was compliments.
Yeah, for sure.